Hey, and welcome back. This is episode 4 of my Reclaiming You After Narcissistic Abuse series. Today, we are focusing on the third phase of healing, what I call the awakening. If you missed the first phase, the shattering, and the second phase, the void, then I have the link to those episodes in the description, or you can go to my Reclaiming You playlist on the channel for easy access to all the episodes in this series. But hang out here, there's a lot of information for you to get and absorb during this episode. When you have spent months or most likely years living in a chaotic marriage, living in a chaotic relationship with a narcissist, then you walked through the numbness of the void of that empty feeling, something miraculous begins to happen. You start to wake up. This is phase 3 of recovery from narcissistic abuse, and that's why I call it the awakening. It doesn't show up with fireworks. It arrives in whispers and small preferences and random bursts of emotion that say, I'm still here. In the courageous living community that I've created, this is the moment I love most. When a woman tells me, I finally painted my bedroom the color I've wanted, or I found a color that I love, or I just cooked for me tonight and it was wonderful. I had one woman tell me, I have been eating strawberry ice cream for most of my life because that's what my mom liked, and I just assumed that I did too. And I actually love vanilla bean, and now I always have vanilla bean in my freezer. This is where you come alive as understanding who you are. These tiny moments of discovering your preferences, that's what waking up really looks and feels like. For years, your attention was tuned outward, towards someone else, towards their mood, towards their needs, towards other people's approval and their preferences. In that process, we become an expert in anticipating what everyone else wanted, but no one ever taught us how to ask, what do I want? What do I need? What do I like? And how to express that. So when preferences start to surface, like what colors feel peaceful, what foods your body enjoys, or you feel safe, who do I feel safe being around? It's not nostalgia for you. It's birth. It's an awakening. It's like you're coming alive for the very first time. And it can feel both beautiful and equally terrifying, because for so long being disconnected from yourself was how you survived. Now, connection feels new and unfamiliar. When I created the Courageous Living Digital Studio, it's the platform where I hold all of my content, I wanted to build a space where women could safely explore that question. Who am I? Who am I really when I'm not performing? Who am I when I am just being myself? No noise, no chaos, just structure, grounding, and gentle guidance as you begin practicing what it means to exist as just you. This phase of awakening is exactly what that space was made for, a place to learn how to live from your truth, not from trauma or your conditioning. Now that I've made this transition myself from living for others and self-abandonment to living with courage as my authentic self, I see most of my memories in black and white. It's like I'm living in color now. I still have moments of grief, though, for how asleep I spent most of my years, especially the years my children were little. But that is an episode for another time, because today we are focusing on this phase of awakening, how to recognize it, and the tools you'll need to move through it. But first, I'm Janice Holland. I'm a licensed therapist. I'm certified in the trauma model, and I'm the creator of the Courageous Living framework. I help women move out of performative living, where people-pleasing and self-abandonment thrive, and into courageous living, where your voice leads, your choices align with your values, and your life finally belongs to you. I want to start today by helping you understand this extreme guilt that we often feel, and it rises up when we begin to use our voice for the very first time. Because not understanding the guilt usually causes us to think we're doing something wrong and activates this really strong sense of fear within us to stay quiet, to be alone, to go backwards. And this is because for most of our lives, it's likely that silence wasn't just a habit, it was safety. Your body learned that being quiet kept you connected to your family and community, that staying agreeable kept you protected so that you felt safe, and you became skilled at reading the room, anticipating needs, soothing tensions before they started. You learned that shrinking was safer than being seen. You know that saying, be seen but not heard, that we often hear understood to be true as children. So when you finally speak, when you say no, or even share a simple preference, your body interprets that as danger. It locks up. Your heart races, your stomach tightens. You second guess yourself. Maybe you rush to apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We often interpret this as a lack of confidence or as weakness. This is your nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do: protect you through what we call the fawning response. This is a survival response where we seek safety by pleasing. It's similar to others you may have heard about, like fight, flight, or freeze, but fawning is a stress response that is about charming others. When you don't feel safe or you don't feel protected, in order to gain their favor, you do what you need to do to get them to like you or to charm them so that you belong and that you feel safe. As you move through this awakening phase, your system begins to shift from this fawning, where I need to do what I need to do so people like me, to authenticity. I take action through desire, through conviction, through meeting my needs, exploring my wants. And that transition can often feel very disorienting. When I'm working with some of my one-on-one clients who are in this phase and struggling with the guilt of disappointing their friends, I often have them explore, how have they disappointed me? Most have never even considered that they've been living with disappointment in their friends or in their partner for years. And this is not about tit for tat. I'm not at all saying that if someone disappoints you, you should disappoint them. I am saying, though, that authentic relationships are reciprocal. You showing up in a relationship with needs and desires and expectations for support and love to flow both ways. It's normal. That's what a healthy relationship is. It's an important part of building healthy relationships moving forward. In this phase, we begin to wake up this understanding that not all of our relationships will survive the evolution that you are in the middle of. Many friends are happy to evolve with us and engage in reciprocal energy, but many will not, because they just don't have the capacity to get beyond manipulation and control. For example, I had a client recently who shared that she had been friends with a woman for many years, and this friend was a great support for her, especially during the initial phases of her divorce. She would call and check in, go on long walks, be readily available for support anytime, day or night. This friend meant the world to her, and she was really happy to have her. Recently, however, this friend has been challenging, and she's struggling with what to do about it. This friend is very jealous when she spends time with other people, and she gets mad and upset when my client doesn't give her 100% attention all the time. The most recent time this happened, it was my client's birthday weekend, and she planned a big party with her friends, which is a big deal, right? And getting some attention and wanting to have fun with her friends. But this particular friend got very upset that my client didn't spend the whole evening with her, sitting beside her, focused on her. Because obviously she wanted to spend time with all of her friends at her party. Like in the past, my client would have planned another outing with this friend, just with no other people, just to try and help smooth things over and help her feel like she is still important to her and help calm down her emotions. But this time, my client decided, you know what? Like, I don't want to do that anymore. There's no reason for me to feel bad. And she decided not to try and make her friend feel better. In that process, she began feeling like sick at her stomach. She began feeling worried and scared that her friend is mad at her, that she's going to start talking bad about her. And I know that my friend's going to be really disappointed. And so that's when I asked her, hey, are you disappointed in her? Is there anything she's doing or has done that frustrates you or communicates she's not assuming positive intentions? Honestly, my client was speechless for a moment. She said, honestly, I've just never even considered that. Of course, I'm really disappointed. I want to be able to go out with all my friends for my birthday, especially, and enjoy everyone. But she kind of ruined my birthday because she was pouting the whole night, and I wasn't able to really enjoy the moment because I knew she was upset. So this conversation helped my client understand that what she really wants and needs are relationships where we all assume positive intentions, where each person wants what's best for the other and is able to celebrate the other person's wins as much as support during the loss. this friend isn't available for that kind of friendship. And while she still has this like knot in her stomach that her friend was upset, she was able to tolerate her friend's disappointment because she's awakening. She's understanding she gets to have needs and wants as much as anybody else. And she can tolerate other people's disappointment so that she's no longer manipulated or silenced into caring more about others' needs, especially when it's at the expense of her own. So, in this phase, for the first time, your body is learning that truth doesn't equal threat. I have the 60-day reset experience where I see so many women making this shift. Often it's one of the most transformative turning points. I get so excited every time I see this click for the people that I'm working with. It's not about suddenly becoming fearless, it's about recognizing the fear and staying truthful anyway, being present anyway. That's the precise moment your nervous system starts to really rewire itself and realize, I get to be safe and honest at the same time. I get to have needs and express them and still feel safe. So this is an example of a woman who is coming into her own, who is awakening. But sometimes when we are in this phase of recovery from narcissistic abuse, we can often go the opposite direction. When we have felt taken advantage of for most of our life and through a very long, tumultuous marriage, it's common for many women to say, I will never let anyone take advantage of me ever again. It's like an overcorrection. Right? She becomes guarded, harsh, and judgmental. This woman mistakes aggression for strength, and then she begins to lead with control instead of seeking true connection. I just want to be clear that while that might feel powerful in the moment, it's not empowerment. It's still being controlled by fear. Yeah, you're no longer afraid of rejection and you're no longer afraid of rejecting others, but now you're afraid of being hurt. Fear is still in the driver's seat. And what I have learned in my life and with the people I work with, that fear will always lead you to regret and or more chaos. Let me give you an example. A woman I work with in the Courageous Living Reset, the 60-day experience, had spent 20 years catering to everyone, her husband, her boss, her friends. She never said no. She was the reliable one, the peacekeeper, the fixer, the one who kept things going. The house was organized because of her. And when her marriage finally ended, she swore she would never be that woman again. So she swung to the other extreme. She kept people at a distance. She prided herself in needing no one. She cut off anybody who disappointed her and would often say things like, I'm not here to babysit other people's emotions. From the outside, she looked powerful. From the outside, she looked like a woman who's come into her own, who's independent, who's confident, who's unbothered. But underneath, when she met with me, when she would talk to me one-on-one, she was exhausted and lonely. Her heart was still hurting. She was still hidden behind a wall of self-protection. She was overcompensating. It was just in a different costume. It looked in a different way. Instead of people-pleasing, she was numbing her pain with overspending, with gossiping, and burying herself in her work. It was still the same nervous system trying to feel safe, but this time by controlling instead of complying. And that's the truth about overcompensation. It looks like strength, but it's just another survival strategy. The work of courageous living is to find the middle space, not the collapse of people-pleasing and not the armor and the overcompensation of bulldozing people. It's where grounded truth live. It is courageous living. It's a life of self-trust, of knowing that you don't need to protect yourself. You aren't afraid of what's going to happen next because you know you can support yourself through it no matter what. And hear me say this, you've already been through the worst. You know you're going to be okay. So you are calm and centered and not in this performance. That's what true, real healing and awakening really looks like. I want to say it again and say it super clearly. This isn't about believing nothing bad will ever happen. It is about trusting yourself that no matter what does happen, you will love and support yourself through it. You've got you, and you know how to seek resources and help and support as you need them. Another one of my one-on-one clients told me this story. She had spent years saying yes to everyone, to her family, to work, with friends. She was often equating love with usefulness, which is very common. She had found a new boyfriend, and after a few months of dating, he asked her if she wanted to move in with him. Of course, she was thrilled because she felt chosen and wanted, and she loved the idea of having dates together every night at home, all of that stuff. She was giddy. However, she also knew that she wasn't ready. She wanted to continue to focus on herself and her needs. She wanted to have some nights alone and enjoy her friendships without the pressure of navigating his needs at home. She just knew she wasn't ready yet. She wasn't standing on solid ground. She's still awakening. She was terrified to say it, but she looked at him and said, "No, I'm not ready. I like you and I want to be with you. I'm just not ready." Her body panicked. Her hand shook. Her heart raced. She wanted to take it back, but she didn't. Instead, she did some exercises of regulating her nervous system that we often talk about in my program. She breathed through it. She walked outside. And, later she came back and told me in session, for the first time in my life, I didn't abandon myself. This is what awakening looks like. It isn't glamorous, but it's sacred work. It's true coming home to yourself. Because my client loved herself, because she communicated clearly, because she held the line of knowing her needs, expressing them, and not twisting it into some kind of blame story or making an excuse or apologizing over and over. This guy responded really well. He was happy to honor her needs and keep the relationship right where it was until she was ready to move forward. This is clearly an emotionally mature man. He didn't take it personal. He didn't try to punish her in some way or threaten her. And this was not only an opportunity for her to not self-abandon, but it was also an opportunity to see that he truly loved her and experience what it feels like to be with an emotionally mature partner who supports you, who supported her needs as much as his own. So fast forward 2 years, she was ready. They revisited the conversation and moved in together. She feels centered and grounded and is now in a place where she can meet her needs and his without feeling overwhelmed or off-center. And their relationship is thriving because both people in it are thriving individually. You have two emotionally mature adults who are doing life together. Okay, so I want to reiterate. Awakening doesn't mean that there is no fear or that life is easy and simple or that fear disappears. It means you feel the fear and choose truth anyway. You speak even when your voice shakes. You hold the boundary even when your heart pounds. You stay grounded instead of reverting to old rules. That's courage. Inside my reset experience that I was referring to earlier, we practice this weekly. It takes some time, but learning to regulate your body so your truth feels safe again is what builds self-trust. It's what creates peace internally. We have all kinds of exercises we do. We do like tapping. We have all kinds of things we do to help you regulate. When you are awakening, when you are regulated and at peace and grounded, that's where creativity starts to return to you. You find yourself not just being curious anymore, but actually having the energy to do things. Like you'll find yourself Googling dance classes near me or Googling cooking classes near me. You feel the energy to repaint your room, to check out the Pilates studio you drive by every day, or start pinning new outfits on Pinterest and redoing your closet. That's not distraction. That is your life force waking up. When your system starts to feel safe, creativity is the first thing to come back online. Listen, I want to be clear. This phase is messy like all of them. You'll set boundaries and then question them. You'll feel strong one day and very uncertain the next. You will lose people who only love the version of you who overgave. And that's painful, and there's so much grief in that. And you learn that you're okay. You're not going backwards. You're growing roots. You are coming alive and coming into your own. You're learning to live from the inside out, not from the outside in. And the process of that learning is messy. Think of a baby learning to walk. They take a few steps and fall. They hold onto the couch. They sometimes don't want to try. They stop and they start and they stop and then start until eventually it's just easy. It's the most natural way of moving from point A to point B. It becomes very natural without having to think. And that's very much what's happening in this awakening process. You just have to keep moving through it. I remember when I was learning to drive, I was terrified. And every time I would get in the car, I would get sick in my stomach and I didn't want to do it. And I would try to think of excuses. But then I just kept reminding myself that thousands of people are driving every day, and I want to be independent. I don't want my parents to have to drive me around. So I pushed myself to keep going and keep learning and keep trying until it became natural. And I didn't think twice about it. Now we just get in the car and we go and we don't think about it. This is the capacity you're building. You just have to be willing to submit yourself to that process. So I have a few ways for you to begin practicing your awakening right now. Number 1, pause before you answer. Don't rush to say yes. Check in with your body. Do I want this? And if you don't know, focus on your body. How does it feel? Not your mind and what it thinks. When you picture yourself saying yes, is there excitement? Is there joy? Is there peace in your body? Your body will tell you what your yes is. For some of us, it's going to take time to listen to our bodies instead of our minds. So we have to practice. Maybe you know what some clear yeses are. For example, your favorite candle scent. Go smell your favorite candle scent and pay attention to the feeling in your body, that yes feeling, that, I love this. I love this smell. That is the feeling you're looking for. Maybe your friend asks you, hey, do you want to join the women's Bible study? Your mind tells you, oh, that should be a yes. That's a yes. But do you feel a squeeze of yes in your body? Or do you feel that you should say yes? So even if it's a perceived good activity, it doesn't mean it's a yes for you right now. So pay attention to that and begin practicing following the yes or no that you feel in your body. The second thing you can do to really support yourself is track your body. Truth can feel tense, but relieving all at once. The tension comes from the fear of breaking the rules. The relief comes from trusting yourself and not abandoning yourself. So ask yourself, is this tension I feel in my body, is it fear that I'm upsetting someone or disappointing someone? The fear that something bad might happen or is the relief I feel because I really don't want to do this? Is the relief that I set a boundary and it feels good for me? Notice both, hold both, trust yourself. Maybe you make a wrong choice. It's okay. You're learning what this sensation feels like and how to tell the difference. To me, it's the same thing as like a baby thinking they can walk across the entire living room and they fall down halfway through. It's okay. Try again. Try next time. Get up and keep going. We are courageous and curious and brave, not full of shame and perfection. All right. Okay. Number 3 also ties into this. Practice micro boundaries. Say, I'll think about it, or not this time, and start in low stakes situations. Is it easier for you to set boundaries at work than with friends? Or is it easier for you to set boundaries with friends than at work? Is it easier with your child's teacher than your boss? Where do you feel the most confident? Start there. Practice communicating your needs and your wants very clearly, and pay attention to how it feels in your body to set a clear boundary. Notice the fear of doing something different along with the relief and the empowerment that it brings with not self-abandoning. Then start practicing in other more scary areas where you're not as confident, and slowly you will begin to feel your way into expressing yourself more. Okay, and number 4, this is going to be so good and help you kind of get the energy out. Move your body after hard conversations. Walk, stretch, shake out tension. Stand in your office or your bedroom or your bathroom, and literally, I want you to shake from head to toe. Go outside and take a lap around the block. Do some stretches while you're sitting at your desk if you're not allowed to get up. Moving your body moves the energy. These 4 things are small actions that feel insignificant in the moment, but they're rebuilding trust. If you need more specific concrete ideas, we practice a lot of them inside the 60-day reset. I get each week is a very intentional, what can I do with my energy? All right, so I'm so excited for those of you in this phase because it is such a fun and powerful time of awakening and self-discovery. It's like coming alive for the first time, and everything feels new and exciting and scary. If you're in this phase where everything feels new and raw and uncertain, I am here cheering you on. And if you feel like you're miles away from being here, I see you too. I want you to keep your eyes and your heart moving forward. And I'm cheering you on too. You are in the shattering or the void. Your time of awakening is coming. We're not into perfection, we're into presence. We're learning to trust our truth and not perform it. We are remembering that our voice matters. Our boundaries are sacred, and our peace is non-negotiable. And if you need support in any of this, I've built an entire ecosystem to walk you through it. First, I have this channel. Stay here. Listen to these episodes. I have my free guide, Finally at Peace, that will help you stop repeating these patterns. It's a digital download that I would love for you to grab. It's in the description. I have my digital studio. This is a deep self-guided tool with tons of resources. It honestly is most powerful if you are in therapy or if you have been in therapy before for an extended period of time for you to go through and use between your therapy sessions. Or if you are a seasoned person in therapy, then it's a tool that you'll be very familiar with that will help you really gain some traction in your healing. I also have the Reset Experience. This is a high impact 60-day experience. If you need to lock in and focus yourself with a specific timeline and agenda, this is for you. We knock it out, and it's very curated and very guided. And then, of course, I have one-on-one journey where you and I work together, personal mentorship, tailored support, and it will be my honor to walk with you and facilitate your transformation. Lots and lots of options for you to get the help and support that you need. Each one is meant to be a doorway back to yourself. Different paths, same destination, courageous living. Okay, so in a couple of days, I'm going to release phase 4, which we're going to go deeper into this, like how to rebuild trust with your instincts, stop apologizing for your truth, and set boundaries that not only protect you, but they expand you, how to continue to grow into the woman that you are. We're going to explore body-based exercises that help you feel your yes and your no a little bit more so decisions stop feeling like these survival tests. So please don't forget to hit subscribe so you know as soon as it drops. If you found this episode helpful, please, it would mean so much to me if you give it a thumbs up or comment. This is the most powerful way for the algorithm to know to send this to other women who are on their journey and who need to hear this message. All right, and I will see you next time.